Oh, hell no. Missed opportunity. I swear. Hello, YouTube. I'm here real quick to talk about yet another game. One that I have not played in quite some time, in quite a while, as I'm sure many of you. Good old Cyberpunk 2077. Ta-da! It is the last gen physical copy, as you can see, but it got the upgrade. Let's talk about that upgrade as well as some of the new tweaks that were put into this game. Alright, so believe it or not, I'm really enjoying the combat for the most part. Let me get into that. I'm enjoying what they've done with the AI and the enemies, the gangs. The gangs are like so much more aggressive now. I can't say they're like significantly smarter, but they do seem a bit more reactant and perceptive of your actions, so that's nice. I can also say that they are aggressive to the point where they will actually pursue you if they have any vehicles nearby, or they'll even, I've seen it actually happen during the gameplay where they will steal a civilian vehicle just to come after you. Yeah. These guys are no joke. They don't mess around. So that's the one thing I really love about the combat portion. The portion I don't like is, why would you nuke over half of my perks? Why would you nerf them down and just make all these perks seem pointless? I can't even stack these perks like I used to from the original build. I'm sure many remember how that worked. And not only has that been nerfed, but the mod slots in clothes has also been nerfed. And now you can only attach certain key mods to certain key clothing. So you have to be way more specific. Not just type of clothes, but also the grade of clothes. Like, you can't attach certain mods to certain grade of clothing. It has to be a certain level and all of that stuff. Legendary, epic. And the mods don't do like what they used to, so it feels kind of unnecessary at this point. It's like, wow, okay, great. Let's talk about gigs. The gigs. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, the gigs are more organized and more controlled. I like the fact there's more of a progression system put into this, and you're not just overwhelmed with a whole bunch of side stuff right from the get-go. But then again, I was never overwhelmed. Were any of you? I've been told by a few people that they were overwhelmed, and I'm just like, I just simply just went out and did them. You know, simple as that. Having the freedom to go do them up to the point where I knew I couldn't do it anymore. Okay, I have to be a certain level to get to that one because it's just too difficult for me to go after, but at least I had the freedom to do so. Now it's like, oh no, you have to complete this certain amount of quests, get to that certain amount of quests. Let's talk about the bonus rewards. Yeah, they're nice. They're nice, and believe it or not, the bonus rewards you get for completing Fixer's gigs actually stack with you. That's the nice thing about it. They actually stack with you. The damage output goes to, I don't know if it stacks with your exact level, or if it just stacks with your perks, or whatever the case may be. But the higher level you are, the higher amount that you're putting out, I believe. I believe that's how that works. Now, do they stack with you after you receive them? I do not know that. But I do know that when I loaded one of my files, I was already level 45 and already had most of these gigs completed. And I picked up the Bloody Maria from El Capitan. And I also picked up this sweet, sweet katana from Lady Okada Okada. And, you know, very nice weapons indeed. But when I picked them up, the initial damage output I was impressed with. I was kind of rolling my eyes going, wow, I'm just going to end up selling these or just leaving them in my stash. And as soon as I grabbed them, pleasantly surprised, oh, wow, the amount of damage on that thing just went up by 10. What's up with that? Got me on that one. Yeah. So, seems like there's a multiplier with these things. The other thing I can say too, the cars. Let's talk about the cars. The handling is a lot better. Yes, the cars feel better. The physics, the dirt reaction, the amount of grit on them, the amount of traction on them, that's all there. But it feels like a waste. It feels like a waste. It's like, okay, you're going to give us that, but you don't even give us police chases. Now, this is the one thing I do like that they did do. Again, we're talking about gangs from earlier. Gang members will chase you, and then, of course, out of chasing you and shooting other people, they will draw the attention of police, and police will come after them. So there is some degree, sort of, there's like a loophole in there to where the police do interact. They're just not interacting directly with you, which is kind of odd. And then if the gangsters are distracted or get stopped by the police or get smashed or whatever, then you just get away scot-free. So it's like, okay, that was cool, but it was short-lived. You know, pretty sick with some of the tweaks I've seen. Definitely some balancing for sure. You definitely do have the power fantasy, though, unfortunately, with that taken away. so it's balanced to a fault. But besides this, I will say, going back to the cars here before I get distracted from that topic, I would love to see them implement an upgrade system or an edit system for these cars to where you can actually alter the cars even more, make the car faster, give it better handling, whatever the case may be, to achieve whatever your playstyle is, whatever environment you are in the most with. So that would be very beneficial instead of just swapping cars, and then just using maybe one or two, one for the Badlands, one for the city. So it's just a waste of money otherwise. And then of course, if I can understand, because they didn't put that in, it would have been another wasted effort, or a wasted option, because you don't have police chases. You don't have a fully fixed wanted system. You can see it there. You can see the police interactions with other people and other characters and gang members, but it doesn't affect you at all directly, and it becomes a little stale and boring after a little bit. It's kind of funny when you see it, but then it's over quick, and you're like, oh, okay, wow. So I don't know. I've had better interactions with the police in Grand Theft Auto, as I'm sure the rest of you have. I think it's at this point kind of unfair to even try to compare this game to Grand Theft Auto. It will never be Grand Theft Auto. So, but is it better overall? As far as the updates and stuff, yes and no. Take it for what you will. I'm a little disappointed on many fronts, and I'm pleasantly surprised on a few fronts, like, again, with the combat with the enemies, how the enemies respond and how they react. That was cool. Interactions with the police between other characters besides you. So maybe that will be in the next update. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath at this point. Now let's talk about the update. The graphics and the performance. Go performance. Definitely go performance. RTX, at least on console, doesn't really make much of a difference. Very small. You can barely notice any difference at all. It literally fixes local shadowing, like right around you, just within your local direct vicinity. And, if you're out in the city or you're out in the environment in the Badlands or whatever, and you're just off driving, or you got intense action happening, you're not paying attention to like the light and shadows all directly around you, it's a waste. Again, it's a waste. Don't even touch it. With the intense action and all that movement, you'd be better off getting the performance mode. Now let's talk about the performance mode. It does not lock at 60 frames per second. I don't know why. That's interesting. I'm playing on the Series X, and I can say right now it kind of, bounces a little bit. Whenever things are going on the norm and I'm just driving casually and everything's pretty fine and dandy, it's about 55 to 57 frames per second. And then if you got intense action, you got a gang car chasing you instead of a cop car, or you got, in combat or whatever the case may be, boss fight, the frames will drop down to about another 10 frames, about 45 to 47 frames. And you'll notice it stutter here and there too when it switches between those two. Like, you'll be at the 55 mark, all of a sudden you'll see a little stutter, and you're kind of like, wait, what? And then it'll go back and it'll be steady again, but now it's at 45 instead of 55. So you notice it's kind of slower, not too much slower, but I haven't seen it drop below 45. If any of you have had that experience, please just comment down below. Overall, I can say it's a step, but that in quotations, it's a step in the right direction. Is it a complete fix? Is it a relaunch fix? No, not really. There's a lot left to work on, a lot left to add. They haven't really added a whole great deal. Let's talk about the apartments and the character editing. Okay, base building, not really. Is it base editing? Sure. Bare bones level. Like, you can literally get these preset interior designs for these apartments, and you can buy them. You get like 6 different interior designs, and then you get a total of 5 apartments. They say 4. You get 4 extra apartments, and then you got your standard apartment that you start the game with. So that's your 5th one. You can edit that one too. It's roughly 10 grand to edit the interior, at least of your base one. I forgot how much it is for the other 4, and the other 4 vary in price too, which I think the most expensive one's like 50K, 55K, or whatever. So I was like, that's kind of cool, I guess. But I mean, overall, you can tell they've added some stuff, quite a bit of stuff, fairly amount of chunky stuff there, but not really a whole lot to get too excited about. And the graphics and the performance level, it's a nice touch. Honestly, I think it's something the game should have already had and already needed at launch. I'm sure we all agree with that. But besides that, yeah. Cyberpunk 2077 1.5. And I will get back to you later. See ya.